This is the WWE Smackdown June 13, 2025 full show results video which takes place at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. John Cena makes his entrance and gets on the mic and says pro wrestling's Mount Rushmore is John Cena, John Cena, John Cena, and John Cena. He announced his retirement early and scouted his opposition, charted a path through the Royal Rumble with the Elimination Chamber as a backup. He knew CM Punk and Seth Rollins would take themselves out and Cody Rhodes was fixated on the final boss and he used that knowledge to cruise through to win the title at WrestleMania. He talks about how he used Logan Paul to buy himself some time to scout CM Punk and back him into a corner where now if he really wants to take the title, he has to admit to himself that he's a hypocrite. And he doesn't have to worry about Mr. Money in the Bank, because Seth will never cash in on him holding this. Seth wants him to leave with the title so that when he cashes in, he'll be the only champion. Cena claims he's the greatest of all time for a reason and we're wasting time worrying about whether or not he sold his soul while he just arranges the map in his favor and wins his matches before they start. American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes makes his entrance then, and says he was right about Seth and Punk and about him and about Randy Orton and Logan Paul. Mount Rushmore? Absolutely, sure, but here he is with this 25-year master plan with a variable he didn't account for. Why didn't he include the simple fact that he pinned him in the center of this ring last Saturday? Then comes Randy Orton, and gets in Cena's face and says everybody saw that he had him beaten at Backlash and about to remove his head from his shoulders until somebody decided to come and save the day, and he realizes now he has to do whatever it takes no matter who he has to go through, in order to get number 15. Even if that means being in King of the Ring, he doesn't care who he has to go through. He loves Cody like a brother and he knows that, but he will not hesitate to put his ass down to get to the title. Then comes LA Knight, and says King of the Ring is around the corner and he'll drop a Viper, a Nightmare, and a balding bitch John Cena to win that title if he's gotta. With that Cena decides he's had enough and he walks off, and Ron Killings blindsides John in the aisle and beats him down. Security breaks it up and escorts Killings to the back as Cena struggles to get himself back together. We see but do not hear John Cena having a loud animated argument with general manager Nick Aldis, at one point turning his baseball cap around so he can yell closer to Nick's face. Then we saw a King of the Ring first round match between Aleister Black vs Carmelo Hayes vs LA Knight vs Randy Orton, and the result of this match was Randy Orton won the match when he delivered RKO out of nowhere to counter Melo's frog splash, and then pinned LA Knight with a lateral press. Back from the commercial, Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu makes his entrance, and says just because your family doesn't mean you can go behind their back and try to snake them. Just because they both come from the same bloodline don't mean they can take all the credit for your hard work. Solo Sikoa appears seated in a dark room on the Tron, JC Mateo over his shoulder. He says a year ago when he came to Sacramento, Jacob was doing and being nothing so he brought him here and made him into a superstar, put money in his pocket, put him in a position for success, made him champion, that was all him and next week he'll be in the middle of the ring with open arms ready to take him back. But there's something he needs from him. He needs to hear 4 words, I love you, Solo, and always remember, he brought him into this world, and he will take him out. The Secret Herbice walk up on Nick Aldis and say Chelsea Green needs to speak with him, and Piper Niven whips out a phone where Chelsea is at poolside saying they need to postpone her Queen of the Ring match. Aldis says there's no postponing, Alba Fire is here and good to go and she has the spot in Queen of the Ring. Green complains that she didn't authorize this, Nick says that's fine because he does, and Alba storms off grumbling about having to change into her wrestling suit. Zelina Vega rolls up and shuts the phone off and wants a shot against Julia. Aldis says she's not here, and Vega says she's the champion and she doesn't want to pretend or hide, so she's gonna have Julia face-to-face in the ring next week. Then we saw a Queen of the Ring first round match between Jade Cargill vs Mia Yim vs Nia Jax vs Piper Niven, and the result of this match was Jade Cargill won the match by pinfall with Jaded on Piper Niven. Back from the commercial, Naomi makes her entrance and says she's Miss Money in the Bank and when she clocks Tiffy in the head with her briefcase, it's gonna feel so good holding the title as you're new but Tiffy Stratton's music hits. She comes in the ring, and says Naomi talks a big game so why isn't she cashing in and taking the title right now, she's the same old Naomi, all talk and no action. Naomi asks if she looks stupid, she's not cashing in now, she's cashing in when she least expects it, but in the meantime, she's gonna enjoy making Stratton's life hell. She strongly advises her to proceed with caution and Nia Jax appears behind Tiffany but the champ is a step ahead and lights her up with strikes before taking her out with a dropkick. Naomi appears to run enough interference that Jax gets the better of her and hits the bonsai drop. Naomi comes back with the briefcase but Nia tells her to get out, Stratton's hers. The next match happened between Motor City Machine Guns vs Wyatt 6, and the result of this match was Wyatt 6 won the match by pinfall with a diving leg drop from Dexter Lumis on Chris Sabin. John Cena is walking backstage when he interrogates Big Jim Uso, demanding to know if he's seen R-Truth. Jim says he hasn't, and Cena asks if he's seen Ron Killings. Still Jim says he hasn't, but John says he knows they're close and to tell him he'll see him in the ring. Back from the commercial, John Cena storms to the ring and tells the crowd to shut their mouths. He says there's a level of disrespect he can tolerate, but R-Truth just crossed some lines, and there's a time to talk and to fight, and he wants to fight. Then comes CM Punk, and says at Night of Champions, John can't beat him, and now he says he's gonna ruin wrestling, so CM will take it on himself to save it. Punk asks for that one to be stricken from the record because it makes him sound like little PG John Cena. Which is ironic because talking about ruining wrestling and taking the strap and leave makes him sound like CM Punk. He's stealing his best material, and you think challenging him at Night of Champions is gonna stop him? No, it's just like old times, CM Punk coming here to make John Cena's retirement tour watchable. Fuel up the private jet, he'll follow you to Mars to beat your ass. He'll follow him to hell to prove that he's better than him, and here's the truth, Cena's a goat, but so is Punk, and he's beaten him in Boston and he's beaten him in Chicago, and he's gonna spit roast him and sacrifice him to the gods of wrestling. To guys like Terry Funk, Harley Race, Bret Hart, and Eddie Guerrero. Punk scoffs at the audacity to put himself on Mount Rushmore not even 4 times but just once. He's a joke. You can't see me? Punk sees through him, and he always has, and that's the truth. Ron Killings attacks John Cena out of nowhere and chokes him out in the STF until security pull him away. Alexa Bliss is interviewed backstage and she says she's not rattled from losing Money in the Bank, and she's gonna remind everyone who Alexa Bliss is and get one step closer to Queen of the Ring. Charlotte Flair pokes her headdress in and says there's only room for one queen in this division. Back from the commercial, Nick Aldis confronts Ron Killings and asks what he wants. Killings says he wants a match against John Cena next week, and Aldis gives it him, and Ron says he's driving now. Then we saw a Queen of the Ring first round match between Alba Fire vs Alexa Bliss vs Candice LeRae vs Charlotte Flair, and the result of this match was Alexa Bliss won the match by pinfall with the Sister Abigail DDT on Candice LeRae. Immediately after the bell, Alba Fire taps out and Charlotte is Cold Fury, and Alexa curtsies repeatedly as Flair gives her a look to kill. Cody Rhodes runs into CM Punk backstage and he says they can't run away from each other forever. Punk says he knows and wishes him luck tonight. In the main event of the show, we saw a King of the Ring first round match between Andrade El Idolo vs Cody Rhodes vs Damian Priest vs Shinsuke Nakamura, and the result of this match was Cody Rhodes won the match by pinfall with Crossroads on Shinsuke Nakamura. Post-match, Cody Rhodes celebrates his victory, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's SmackDown? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching the video.